No, my.
Here we go. Okay. So in Aleph Tes.
We have challah first.
Yeah, Aleph Tes and Challah.
I just took it out. Olive test. Okay. Challah and truma carry the penalties of death, and the additional fifth are forbidden to non-priests. An additional fifth are forbidden to non-priests. Are property of the priest. Are neutralized in 101. Require the washing of hands in sunset, and may not be separated from the clean for the unclean, and only from that which is nearby and from finished products. If one says, um, let let all my threshing floor be truma and all my dough challah, he has said nothing unless he leaves part of it, all of a part of it.
We see that strong parallel between Challah and Truma.
Mhm.
Okay.
Produce from outside the land which entered the land is liable to challah. If it went there from here, Reb Eliezer obligates, but Reb Akiva exempts. Soil from outside the land which came to the land in a ship is liable to maestros and to the seventh year. Reb Yehuda says when? When the ship touches the ground. Dough which has been kneaded with fruit juice is liable to challah and may be eaten with unclean hands.
Right. If, uh, that's interesting. But I think that's not the halacha. Let's just see where you're at first. Pain may Paris. So they don't make right. So may Paris, of course, does not transmit tumor. But nonetheless, so nonetheless, it's stated without opposition that that dough that's made with fruit juice is still liable to challah. Okay, that's
Only
interesting.
the, it's not the halakha because it's not any of the seven liquids.
Because what?
Not any of the seven liquids. So it's not it not
Right. So
except
that's about tumor.
um
Okay, sorry. This according to Yerushalmi, this Mishnah is according to Rabbi Elazar ben Yehuda,
right.
who holds that even Paris joins the Issa, but the halacha is not like this Mishnah, right? Only Issa that okay, that's what I thought. I was looking in the wrong commentary because I remembered that this was not the halacha, but I was looking in the wrong place to confirm it. Okay, Ele rak Isas nilosh be'echad mishivas hamashkim. Uh, right, so basically the susceptibility to tumah here goes hand in hand with the hue of challah. Okay, Mishnah Gimel. האישה יושבת בכות החלס הערומה מפני שהיא יכולה לכסות עצמה, אבל לא האיש. So a woman theoretically could sit naked and separate challah. Why? Because when she sits, she's able to cover her erva. Um, okay, but a man physiologically can't do that. So therefore, now you need to make a bracha to separate for separating challah lechatchila. Okay, and that a person can't do when they're naked. Misha enu yachol lasas isa sobatara. Now, Shaila, what happens? And we're talking bisman mikdash, when it was possible to be tahor or tameh, when it was possible to be tahor. Okay, if somebody has, for whatever reason, they're making their dough and they're tameh, and
Right.
they can't delay until they've become tahor. Let's say they've got tumas shiva, and they got to make Shabbos, and they need to bake some bread for Shabbos. Okay, so what should they do about the fact that the dough is going to have challah separated from it, and it's going to be tameh? Okay, Misha enu yachol lasos isaso b'tara yasena kabin va'al yasena b'tuma. So says the Tanakama, make it into loaves that are into groups that are a kav or less, so that you don't have to separate challah at all. So if you make it in small batches, so that you don't have to separate challah, then you circumvent the problem, and you can simply take you don't have any problem of tuma with the challah because there's no challah. Rabbi Akiva disagrees with this. Um, Says Rabbi Akiva, Yasena b'tumah v'al yasena kavim. Do it in tumah rather. Separate the challah in tumah, and you'll have and okay, so you'll have to burn it. But kashem shehu korei l'torah kachu korei l'tmeya l'zok korei challah v'l'zok korei challah b'shem. Okay, so just like you have with tahor dough, you'll have tamei dough separating challah from it, and aval and okay, no, you'll have to burn it. But aval kavim ein lehem chelik b'shem. But you lose out on the mitzvah of challah if you're doing it with if you're trying to break it up into small pieces so that you don't have to give challah. Okay.
If
Mhm.
we eat a bread that has challah taken from it, we're going to make a bracha on it, right?
Right.
If we have a piece of bread and there was no challah taken from it, we would still be eating that bread and making a bracha on it.
Well, if it came from a batch that didn't require challah, that's not a problem.
Right.
Okay, the problem is if it was from a batch that did require challah and you're eating it, that's called tevel.
Right. Okay. What would be a batch that wouldn't require a
Something
small?
it's a small batch, less than 5 quarters.
So you don't need to make a bracha on that then.
You don't need to make a bracha on what? There's no mitzvah of challah, so
What's like an art? You wouldn't.
bread is always hamotzi.
That's what I thought. So it had nothing. This has nothing to do with.
No, this is to do with the stage of dough when you separate whether you have to separate dough or not.
Right, so it has nothing to do with the fact of eating it.
No, we're talking about the fact that if he's tameh and he separates challah from the dough when he's tameh, then then the dough is immediately going to become tameh and you can't give it to the kohen. Chaval. No, that's what the Tana says. You're wasting the dough because it's not even going to get to the coin. However, of course, in our times, there's no such concern because we don't give it to the coin even if we were tahor because we don't rely on the coin being tahor either. We don't give truma, any kind of truma to the kohanim nowadays. So we actually do hold like Rabbi Akiva in our times.
All right.
Okay. If somebody makes his dough into kav into the small amounts, right? So that each batch of dough is too small to take challah from it, but in the oven they grow and then they touch each other. They're nonetheless patur from challah unless they grow into each other to the point that if you break them apart, one takes a piece from the other. Right? Now, you've seen that happen, I'm sure. If they've bitten into each other, then they're considered as if they're one batch and you have to take challah from them. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Afar Rodeh v'nosin nesal, hasal v'tzarf l'challah. Says even if you made kav-sized loaves and you didn't take challah from any of the dough, and then you put them into a basket together, Rabbi Eliezer says now the basket has joined them, and now you have to take challah from the basket. And the halacha actually follows Rabbi Eliezer here. So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Hamafresh chalas or kemach. If a person does the wrong thing, and challah is supposed to happen when you separate from dough. Now somebody decides they're going to be a chacham and they take their flour and they separate, and it's more than 5 quarters of flour. So they take out. Okay, let me take out a piece of flour. Ein challah, says the Mishna. This is a completely invalid act. There's no challah here. The gezel biyad kohen. If the kohen takes it, if he accepts it knowing that this is the case, it's gezel. He has to return it. It wasn't due to him. He has to, and it was given to him under a misapprehension. He has to return it. Now Isa Atzma. Now what happens if the kohen kept this dough and he turned it into and he made a dough out of it. He kept the flour and turned it into dough. chayev b'chala. So this dough, it comes from table flour, and it is chayev b'chala. He has to separate challah from it. But kemach and the flour, if it was still in flour, im yesh bo kashiur chayev b'chala. And the flour that's left over. Wait, which flour is this? הקמח שהופרש לשם חלה, אם יש בה כשיר חייבת בחלה. עיסה עצמה, שפריש חלס הקמח. Oh, sorry, the first Issa. The first Issa is talking about the stuff that the Israel kept. So he separated flour and he turned the rest of his flour into dough. That dough has to have challah taken from it again. And the kemach that he gave to the kohen, if that kemach has enough in it to be 5 quarters, if you took a very large portion as challah, then it itself is chayav in challah. But it's nonetheless prohibited to non-kohanim. Because it was given to a kohen b'tor challah, so non-kohanim are not allowed to eat from it. The divrei Rabbi Yeshua. So according to Rabbi Yeshua, non-kohanim aren't allowed to eat it. So Amru lo, Maser kofash zaken zar. There was a case where there was a zaken, meaning a zaken is not just an old guy. It's somebody who's learned in Torah. And he wanted to make a point where somebody had foolishly given challah to the kohen. He went and very pointedly ate this dough in order to demonstrate that it belongs to that this shouldn't be given to kohanim like this. It has to be given as dough. Okay, Amar lahem. So Rabbi Yeshua said, "Yeah, I heard about this case as well. Afhu kilkel la'atzmo v'sikein la'acherim." What is he doing? He was taking a hit for everyone else. So he was over on this gezerah. He was over on a gezerah that people shouldn't that a non-kohen should not eat this from this flour that was given to a kohen as challah. But he did it in order to fix a misapprehension in other people's eyes, so that they should see that that flour that's given to a kohen as challah is completely invalid. He wanted to make that point, and therefore he felt it was right for him at this point to be over on the gezerah in order to prevent other people from making this mistake. I don't think it may paskin whether they agree with Rabbi Yeshua ultimately. Okay, the Rambam paskins like Rabbi Yeshua that after it's been separated, even though it was separated in error, nonetheless non-kohen should not eat from it, because you don't want people saying, "Look, non-kohenim can eat challah."
Right.
Okay.
Truma.
Master Shani. Excuse me, Master Shani.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Hey Gimel.
I took my thing out too fast. Hey Gimel. Karen Ravai, Beit Shammai says it is not liable to the fifth or to Beer. But Beis Hillel says it is. Beit Shammai says it is liable to Peret and it is liable to Olet, but the poor redeemed for themselves. And Beis Hillel says all goes to the wine press. How do they redeem Neta Ravai? He places the basket before three and says, how much does a person want to redeem for himself, for a seller, with the provision that the expenses be borne by his household? And he puts down the money and says, anything gathered from this is redeemed with this money, so many baskets for a seller. And in the 7th year, he redeems it for its value, and if it all was rendered hefker, he only has the cost of gathering. If one redeems his own neta ravai, he must add a fifth of it, whether it is his or was given to him as a gift. Okay.
Nautilus. Yud Aleph Hey.
Kernels of Truma, as long as he keeps them, are forbidden. If he threw them away, they are permitted. So too bones of holy food. So long as he keeps them, they are forbidden, but if he threw them away, they are permitted. Coarse bran is permitted. Fine brand of new is forbidden, but of old is permitted. And when he may treat truma as he treats, and he may treat truma as he treats kulin. If one sifts one or two cobs of fine flour from a saw, he may not throw away the rest, but might put it in a hidden place. If one cleaned out truma wheat from a storeroom, he is not enjoined to sit down and collect them one by one, but he sweeps in his usual manner and puts kulin into it.
In other words, you don't have to be much bit about every last grain of truma that was left in his granary. He can just do it as exactly as much as he would be makpid with regular grain. And then he can mix in the cholin.
So too, if a far of oil was upset, he is not enjoined to sit down and scoop it up, but deals with it as if he would chulin. Okay.
Right. Demai, above your face.
Okay. We have read base. If an Amaret said to a Chaver, buy for me a bundle of vegetables, buy for me a loaf, he buys it without specifying and is exempt. But if he said, this is for me and that is for my fellow, and they became mixed up, he must tithe even if they are 100. If one invites his friend to eat with him and he does not trust him in regard to tithes, he declares before Shabbos, what I shall separate tomorrow shall be Meiser, and adjoining it is the rest of the Meiser. That which I read in Meiser is rendered Truma, Meiser for it, and the Truma Shani lies in the north and the south of it and is redeemed with money. Since they have filled up his cup, he declares, what shall I leave at the bottom of the cup? Shall it be Meiser, adjoining it to the rest of the Meiser, which I rendered Meiser shall be Truma Meiser for and I'm sorry, Truma's Meiser for and Meiser Shani at its mouth and is redeemed with money.
So,
Okay. And
okay.
one more.
No,
That was three. That was three.
that was three.
All
We're
right.
into Nagayim.
I am.
Yud Aleph Dalad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A garment whose wrap is colored and its weft is white, or its weft is colored and its warp is white, is always judged according to its appearance. Garments become tame when greenest of the greens or when reddest of the reds. If it was deep green and spread deep red, or deep red and spread deep green, it is tame. It changed and expanded, or changed and did not expand, it is as if it did not change. Rabbi Yehuda says it should be examined anew. That which is the same at the end of the first week is washed and refined. That which is the same at the second week is burnt. That which expands at the end of either week is burnt. If it turned dull during the initial inspection, Rabbi Ishmael says it is washed and then confined. Rabbi Ishmael says it is washed and then confined. The sages say it is not need to. It does not need to. But if it turned dull after the first week, it is washed and confined. And if it turned dull after the second week, he tears it out and burns what he tore. And it requires a patch. And Renachama says it does not require a patch.
Rabbi Nehemiah says it doesn't require patches.
If it, if nega appeared on the garment, the patch is saved. If nega reappeared on the patch, the garment is burned. Part of a previously confined garment was used to patch a tahor garment. If nega reappeared on the garment, the patch is burnt. If nega reappeared on the patch, the first garment is burnt, and the patch functions as an indicator for the second.
Interesting. So the patch is kind of part of two worlds. It's an indicator on the previous garment that it came from, as well as the current garment. Okay.
On a coat that is
That's it. We've done three there. Havos.
okay.
Hayed base.
There we go. There are four types of students. One who is quick to grasp and quick to lose, his reward is offset by his loss. One who is slow to grasp and slow to lose, his loss is offset by his reward. One is quick to grasp and slow to lose is a wise person. One who is slow to grasp and quick to lose, this is a bad lot. There are four types of charitable donors. One who desires that it will give, but others shall not give, looks disparagingly at the money of others. One who desires that others should give, but he will not give, is stingy with his own money. One who desires that he will give and others should give is a pious person. And one who desires that he will not give and others should give is a wicked person.
Should not give. Yeah.
Will not give, right? And others should not give is a wicked person. There are four types of people who go to the study hall. One who goes where that does not act. The reward for going is in his hand. The one who acts but does not go, the reward for acting is in his hand. The one who goes and acts is a pious person. One who does not go and does not act is a wicked person.
Okay.
Okay.
Adkan and Yevamos.
Dum, bum, bum.
Decide, hey.
Even if he heard, even if he heard women saying, "So and so died," it is sufficient. Rabbi Yehuda says, even if he heard children saying, "We're going to utilize and bury so and so," his testimony is valid, whether he intends to testify or not. Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava says a Jew's testimony is valid even if he intended to testify, but if a non-Jew intended to testify, his testimony is invalid. Witnesses may testify even if they
That's
saw.
interesting. You hear that the guy you only trust when he's Mesiach Lefi Tumo. We had that in Kashrus as well. There was I think we kind of touched on it when there were opinions about whether or not you can trust a guy who's tasting your food.
Right.
Okay, and he's got a. But here we see clearly in Yevamos that we only trust a guy's testimony that he saw a Jew die when he's just talking about it for no particular reason.
Right.
But if he knows that it's in order to permit his widow to remarry, then you don't trust him because the guy might be vindictive and want to say, yeah, he's dead just because he wants to mess up the Jews.
I killed him. He's dead. That's it.
Hmm.
Witnesses may testify even if they saw by lamplight and moonlight, and we permit remarriage on the basis of a voice. There was once an incident where someone stood on a hilltop and said, "So and so, the son of so and so from such and such a place has died." They went to the hilltop but found no one there. Yet they permitted his wife to remarry. There was another incident at Zalman when someone said, "I am so and so, the son of so and so, and a snake has bitten me and I am dying." They went there but could not recognize him, yet they permitted his wife to remarry. Rabbi Akiva said, "When I went down to Nahardia to fix the leap year, I encountered Nechema of Beis Delhi. He said to me, 'I have heard that in Eretz Yisrael they did not permit women to be married by the testimony of a single witness, except for Rabbi Huda ben Bava.' And I said to him, 'This is correct.' And he said to me, 'Tell them in my name you know that the country is in a turmoil because of ravaging troops. I have a tradition. I have a tradition that from Rabbi Gamliel the elder that we permit the elder that we, I'm sorry, I have a tradition from Rabbi Gamliel the elder that we permit a woman to be married by the testimony of a single witness. When I came and presented the matter before Rabbi Gamliel, he rejoiced at my words and said, 'We have found a companion for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava.' As a result of the exchange, Rabbi Gamliel recalled that some men have once been killed in Tel Azar. Rabbi Gamliel the elder has permitted their wives to be married on the testimony of a single witness. It then became established to permit marriages on the testimony of a single witness, and it became established to permit remarriage on the testimony of one witness, quoting another. And on the testimony of a slave, a woman, and a slave woman, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua say we do not permit a woman to marry by the testimony of a single witness. Rabbi Kiva says, not by the testimony of a woman, a slave woman, or relatives, but they said to him, there was once an incident where some Levium journeyed to Zoar, the city of date palms, and found one of them fell during the rain, and they brought him to an inn. On the return trip, they say to the woman keeper, "Where is our companion?" She said, "He died, and I buried him." And they permitted his wife to remarry. They said to him, "Shouldn't the wife of a Kohen be as good as a woman innkeeper?" And he replied, "When the woman innkeeper believed, this woman innkeeper brought out to them his staff, his baggage, and the Torah scroll in his possession."
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, Hadron Allah, Maseches Yevamos.
We're going on to.
Ksubos.
Okay. Have a great day.
Okay,
Get some,
you
get
too.
some sleep. Rest. Me too. I'd like to.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, have a good day.
bye. You too. Bye.